What's up, YouTube? This your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. This week, got a couple things to talk about. Everyone's seen the whole presidential debate by now. They'll do another one this week, and I'll get it out to you as soon as possible. But, this past week, it didn't go well. Trump should have let Biden hang himself with his own rope and let him speak. It felt like two kids tattletelling on each other the entire time. Most of the issues weren't really talked about, except for that good old Biden, ran around all his questions and wouldn't answer them. He's not for law and order, obviously. He's socialism, communism. That's what Biden stands for. Now, the media tried to put a spin on this and said Trump wouldn't answer his questions, but Trump was doing his best to answer them, but Biden was not answering none of it. He was giving runarounds the entire time. And he was name-calling. Trump wasn't name-calling, but Biden sure was. Anyways, it was kind of a joke. It wasn't a real debate. Hopefully the next one's better. We'll see. The next thing, I think it's pretty crappy, the far left, he gets the China virus and the first lady, and they're all like, oh, I hope he dies, blah blah blah. That's pretty, both of them, that they hope both of them die, that's pretty shitty. But that's the far left. They don't, they claim they're all about love and peace and unity, but that's far from it. That is not what the far left stands for. They're nothing but full of hate. But anyways, moving on. Kamala Khan debuted in a Marvel Avengers comic in 2013. By this time, the woke left had already taken over Marvel Comics. This is a woke left Marvel edition character. The real Miss Marvel is blonde and white. This Miss Marvel character is someone who supposedly, like, she was a big fan of Miss Marvel, so she wanted to be like her, so she took on her name or whatever. She's Muslim, Pakistani, and whatever. But apparently she's getting a series on Disney. Go figure. I wonder why. Since it's part of the woke agenda. But yeah, they can't do the actual Miss Marvel. They have to do something completely different off the wall. Regardless, this is not Miss Marvel. I'm sorry. It's just not. Never will be. Not the real one, anyway. Anyways, that's my thoughts on that. It's gonna suck. It's a woke Marvel Disney junk. So, more power to you if you want to watch that BS. The next thing, your dating tip this week is gonna be a short one. Basically, if you're going through a dating site or something like that, trying some online dating, and the person is not like really close to you, say they're more than an hour away, I guarantee you, 100%, they're not interested in a relationship. They're just looking for sex, basically, a hookup. That's all you're going to get. Long distance relationships do not work. I know I've said that before, but they don't. They don't ever work. So, I'm telling you now, it's kind of dumb if you don't want to date someone, or if you're looking for a serious relationship. It's kind of dumb if you don't want to date someone who's not like within 30 minutes or so away from you at the max, because that's just ridiculous. If you can't see that person, whenever you want, what's the point? You gotta drive over an hour away, get to see them on the weekends or something. That's just dumb. But anyways, that's my dating tip. I promise you, if it's somebody over an hour away, they're not looking for a serious relationship. Okay, moving on. Next thing, I just got done watching this past week the entire 5 seasons of the show called Chuck. If you don't know what Chuck is a show about a guy who's basically a nerd. He works at a place called Buy More. He's part of their nerd herd, which is basically, like geek.com or something. They go around fixing electronics, computers, that kind of thing. Anyway, he gets involved with the CIA. He ends up getting this computer program downloaded into his head. He calls it the Intersect. And he's able to, he'll glimpse at something or somebody. He'll get like this little flash of, this little episode or whatever you want to call it, where he can see things about them, like a file on them or something. Covert ops kind of stuff, top secret. It gets two agents assigned to him. One is CIA, the other is NSA. They call them his handlers. They're there to protect him, and use him any way they can to complete missions. They even build a base down below the Buy More store that he works at. Eventually, the woman who's the CIA named Sarah, she ends up, her and Chuck end up falling in love and getting married and yada yada before it's all said and done. My thoughts on it was the first few seasons was alright. There was only one problem I had with the entire show, and that's the character named Morgan, who plays his best friend. He was not funny at all. He was extremely annoying and obnoxious, and it was just, his character was extremely irritating. I couldn't stand the character Morgan. He was just dumb. He shouldn't have been in there. The character shouldn't have been acted that way. It was just horrible. I couldn't stand him. Every time I saw him on the screen, I wanted him to be shot in the head. It was just terrible character. Terrible. The last 2 seasons, he wasn't as bad. The last season, they almost made him worse by giving him the Intersect, but then they got rid of it real quick. But still, he still was not a really good character. He still wasn't funny. I did not care for his character at all. The two that actually made the show actual funny, hands down, was Jeff and Lester. Oh my gosh, them two were just hilarious throughout the entire series. Those two cracked me up. They were funny as hell. Even in the last season when Jeff got all serious, it still was hilarious. In fact, it was even funnier that last season. Those two really made the last season good. But the show wasn't bad, actually. I actually liked the show. It's really good. Like I said, the first couple seasons or so was really, really good. It kept you interested. But then they kept switching the intersect around between people. And that got a little confusing them last 3 seasons. I was just like, okay, this is getting crazy. They just need to keep the intersect in one place. Linda Hamilton playing his mom was a little bit much. I liked Scott Bakula, so him playing the dad didn't bother me. But Linda Hamilton coming in and playing his mom, she's like this super agent or some crap. I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But otherwise, the show was actually really good. It wasn't bad at all. I really liked Adam Baldwin's part as the Colonel. He was actually pretty funny, quite a bit. And I've never been a big fan of Adam Baldwin's, but in this case, he actually did a really, really good job. I never said he wasn't a good actor. I just never been a real big fan of his. But he actually did really good in this one. My only real biggest complaint besides the Morgan character was the very ending, the way they ended the show. It really pissed me off because they did a whole 51st dates thing, where she loses her memory because they intersect, Sarah does, his wife. And now she has to fall in love with Chuck again. It was just like, really? You're just going to completely mind wipe her? That's just fucking retarded and stupid. It was dumb. And they rushed that last episode. It was done very badly. They just rushed it, you could tell. Like they didn't plan on ending the show, but they had to hurry up and end it, kind of thing. But yeah, that was my only major complaint. Other than that, the show was really good. It gets tedious sometimes because of all the intersect crap they keep doing, but other than that, wasn't a bad show. I give it 2 thumbs up. I'm telling you right now, Jeff and Lester, they're the ones to watch. They're hilarious. They make the show. Anyways, that's all I have for the news this week. Let's get on to your movie reviews. Alright, movie holics, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. This week is Horror Week. Since this is the month of October, I just figured I would go ahead and do uh, horror movie review all month this month. It is the season. So for the next few weeks, I'll be doing our horror flick reviews. But for this week, we got a movie from 1978 that you may never have heard of. I know I'd never heard of it. It is called The Evil. And it starred Richard Crenna and Joanna Patet. Basically, the story goes, you know, this couple decides to buy an old Civil War building, or a building made in the Civil War or whatever. Apparently it was like, I think a kind of like hospital or asylum type place back there in the Civil War. It got shut down by the owner. The owner owned it during the Civil War. He shut it down, closed it up. But it went back on the bank, put it back on the market. So this couple saw it and decided that they would buy it and, you know, fix it up. They wanted to. They were like college professors or whatever, and they wanted to make it kind of like a community school or some crap like that. They got a few friends to come in and help them out to fix the place up. And while they're all staying there, weird shit starts happening. A couple of people die, and then the main professor, he finds this like door down the basement or whatever. He ends up opening the base. It's like a floor door, and he pulls it open and pulls out this cross that was holding it down or whatever, locked. This cross, he pulls the cross out, and the door pops open, and all hell breaks loose. Then all the doors start shutting and locking, and the windows lock and everything. And basically, if they find this old diary from the guy who owned it during the Civil War and locked it down, claiming that he shut evil in, like the door was a doorway to hell or some shit, and he locked it down with the cross or whatever, and it should never be opened. So during the rest of the movie, they're trying to lock this door. Apparently they meet Satan or something down in the hole of this door was closed over. I don't know, a series of tunnels. I guess I'm not sure if it was supposed to be Satan or not. I'm guessing it was, but some type of demon or something. And the professor and his girlfriend stabs him with this cross or whatever, and it hurts them, and it's enough time for them to get out and get away and grab the cross and get out of the hole and then lock it back up with the cross. And then everything magically opens up and they're able to get out of the building. Of course, everybody else died. It's just them two who got out. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. The story was kind of lame and cheesy. I was actually looking for older ghost flicks. You know, something about ghosts. And surprisingly, back in the 60s and 70s, there really not is very many movies about actual ghosts. Maybe demon possessions, that kind of thing, but nothing about like ghosts. It's really hard to find something, you know. Just a few, very few. Without getting into like, you know, the super classics like Amityville Horror or something like that, you know. But with this movie, like I said, the story was kind of cheesy. It was okay, I guess. Wasn't horrible, but it wasn't really that great either. I give the story a 3. As far as the acting was not very good at all. I just didn't care for most of the acting. It kind of sucked. They kind of went over the top in some places. Some of the women, you know, dying or whatever. You know, your scream queens or whatever. I give that a 2 because the acting wasn't really that good. Special effects, really wasn't that much special effects. I mean, it's easy to make doors close or open or whatever, and so, you know, I give that a 2. It wasn't like anything major. It wasn't all that great, you know, special effect wise. And then the overall story, you know, overall everything, I'll give it a 3, barely a 3, to be honest. It wasn't all that great. It was okay, but it just reminded me of like an old ass TV movie or something. It wasn't that great. I give it like a thumbs up, thumbs down. I mean, check it out if you want. You're not really missing nothing. Okay, let's move on. The next movie we're going to talk about does happen to be a classic, a B-rated classic. It is called The Haunting. And I'm not talking about that cheesy ass bullshit they made with Liam Neeson in 1993 or whatever it was. I'm talking about the original Haunting, done in 1963, starring Julia Harris and Richard Johnson. Now, there was a box office number for this. It made about 1.2 million worldwide back then. I guess that would be considered decent or pretty good. The story basically is about supposedly all this house that sets on a hill. It's called the Hill House. Apparently has some back history of you know, a couple of deaths or whatever, and they say the house is cursed. You know, whoever owns it or whatever is doomed to die or some crap like that. The former owner, a woman or whatever, she ended up getting in a horse buggy wreck or something that ended up killing her right on the property. Throughout the movie, the story is basically about a woman who she inherited some stuff from her mother. Her mother was sickly. She was taking care of her. She has a sister, but her sister's kind of a bitch. But she wants to escape the house that she's in, and she wants to get far away from her sister, who happens to live with her. I don't know, it's just crazy. But I've seen families like that, family situations like that before. But she wants out of the house and she wants to go live somewhere else by herself. So she gets this invitation to go to this uh, hill house by a professor of, I'm not sure exactly what, psychology or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember. He's doing some paranormal research though at this house because he heard of the rumors of it being haunted. So he invited a few people to go to this house and do an investigation with him. And she happens to be one of them. Her and one other woman who kind of has this psychic ability. She kind of ESP or whatever. She can usually tell what a person's feeling or kind of thinking a little bit. She can't read minds, but she kind of gets a sense of what they might be thinking or feeling. And then another guy shows up, which is the owner's nephew, who's going to inherit the house eventually. Apparently he comes to help investigate or whatever. But these four are the only ones who show up. You have a lot of weird stuff going on during the entire time. Mainly, the weirdest thing is they'll hear something thumping down the hall, like this booming sound traveling down the hallway with the door locked shut, and you see the door breathing in and out, and the door handle trying to move, and some rapping, like something banging on the door really hard. Eventually the professor's wife shows up as well. She gets lost in the house somehow. Don't ask me how, it's really strange. But somehow she gets lost in the house. The whole time, Julie Harris's character, she's pretty much losing her mind the entire time she's there. And she's kind of, you hear her thoughts. She narrates her thoughts. But yeah, she thinks she needs to stay at the house and that the house is calling her and wants her to stay there forever and blah, blah, blah. Eventually, towards the end of the movie, she tries taking off in her car and she rams it into a tree, instantly killing her. Almost kills the professor's wife, who just happens to show up out in the middle of the long-ass driveway behind some woods or trees. She's okay, and I don't know, it was really strange. But that's pretty much the end of the movie. The house pretty much claimed that woman, Julia Harris, the main character. Honestly, I don't see why this is a classic. I know that's gonna make some people irritated, but I just didn't find it all that great. First of all, you have to watch it in black and white, which I'm not a big fan of black and white movies. I mean, I could watch them, but just not a fan. But this movie was just really slow. Not much was going on. You had a few scenes where some ghostly stuff was going on, but the majority of the time they're just bullshitting through the entire movie, like someone just sitting down having a conversation with somebody. It was really boring. I almost fell asleep a couple of times. It was so hard to pay attention. It just was not a good storyline, I didn't think, anyway. Of course, let's see, the acting wasn't bad. It was okay. They all did a decent job. I give it a 3 for acting. It was decent. There was nothing wrong with the acting. They were all pretty good actors. The story was kind of, it was an okay story, but it was just boring as hell. They didn't really do a whole lot as far as the ghost crap. So I'm just going to give that a 2 because I didn't really care for the story all that much. It was basically about this woman going nuts, you know, is basically what it was. You know, she's just losing her mind. She's talking to herself throughout most of the movie. And CGI, or not CGI, sorry, special effects. Wasn't a whole lot of special effects, honestly. The breathing door was about the biggest special effects, and you know, all the noise, the big booming sound and crap. So, you know, a 2 for special effects because it was just okay, you know, nothing major. Overall, the story, I give the story a 3. I mean, it was okay, but it, overall the whole movie, just the story and the acting, it was all right, but it was super slow, and that's why I'm giving it just barely a 3. It was just really slow. Thumbs up, thumbs down. It was all right, but it wasn't really a really great movie as far as I'm concerned. Go ahead and check it out if you want. It's apparently a classic. I don't know why, because it wasn't really that great at all. But whatever. If you have any suggestions, maybe some gems I might have missed, please leave them down in the comment section down below. Let me know. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in this video, again, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section down below. Like to hear them. That's all I have for you this week for your B-movie reviews. And until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you've just been told.